the sprawling metropolis of Neo-Tokyo, where flickering neon lights dance against the rain-soaked streets. A figure hunched over a series of screens illuminated the cramped confines of a miserable apartment. The air buzzed with the hum of machinery, punctuated by the rhythmic tapping of fingers on a keyboard. This was Kai, a skilled hacker whose turbulent past hung heavily over him like a shadow. He maneuvered through layers of digital security, his heart racing as he pushed deeper into the network of a powerful corporation known as Nexus Industries. The deeper he plunged into the labyrinth of information, the more he felt a mix of curiosity and dread coil within him. A glow of the screens reflected in his eyes, casting them in an ethereal shade of blue. Then he found it. Almost hidden beneath layers of encryption, a collection of files captured his attention. Fingers. He decrypted one of the files, revealing a video. Green. A woman spoke, her eyes wide with fear and desperation. Her memories had been altered, stolen from her by forces she once thought she could trust. She recounted her experiences. Kai felt a chill run down his spine. A hint of something sinister, lurking in the shadows of his mind, urged him to dig further. With cautious resolve, he replayed the video, absorbing every detail. A woman's anguish echoed in the silence of his room, merging with his own buried regrets. Memories, once thought to be personal, were now manipulated tools in a twisted game orchestrated by Nexus. Stirred something within Kai, a mixture of empathy and incitement that prompted him to confront the reality of his own forgotten past. He leaned back in his chair, the weight of what he'd uncovered pressing heavily upon him. A knowledge that corporate giants could rewrite realities, bending lives to their will, ignited something deep within Kai, a blend of determination and unease. He was no stranger to corruption, but this felt more invasive, more profound. With steely resolve, he knew he could not simply walk away. Thoughts raced in his mind, spiraling like the neon lights outside his window. He needed help, someone with insights into the insidious workings of Nexus. There was only one name that resonated through the fog of his uncertainty mirror, an enigmatic information broker he had heard whispers of. Have ties to the corporation, connections that could shed light on the darkness surrounding human memory. The shadows of Neo-Tokyo stretched far and wide, swallowing secrets whole. I pulled on a worn jacket, prepared to immerse himself in the pulsating heart of the city. Outside, the rain fell like a curtain, wrapping the streets in muted colors and distorted reflection. With each step, he felt the weight lift, courage filling the void left by his past. He was setting out to uncover the truth, a truth that could either redeem him or doom him in the chaotic underbelly of Neo-Tokyo. He disappeared into the night. The faint echo of the woman's voice lingered, reminding him of the fragile nature of memory and the lengths to which he would go to reclaim not only the truth, but perhaps a fragment of his own lost identity. This was the beginning of a journey he never intended to take. It now seemed inevitable, like threads weaving into an unseen tapestry of fate. The neon-lit depths of Neo-Tokyo, Kai struggled to comprehend the weight of the revelations he had just uncovered. The stark reality of Nexus Industries loomed heavily over him, a monstrous shadow threatening to consume everything he held dear. With each flickering streetlight casting an eerie glow, he made his way through the bustling underbelly of the city, seeking refuge in the transient world of information brokers and hidden truths. He found himself standing outside a dimly lit establishment, its facade adorned with flickering holograms and obscured by the haze of smoke from street vendors. This was Mira's domain, a haven for secrets woven into the very fabric of the metropolis. Hesitated, his heart racing. The weight of his purpose propelled him forward, past the automated turrets and crackling surveillance systems designed to keep out unwanted guests. Inside, the atmosphere pulsed with whispers of transactions and lives entwined in the web of corporate deceit. He spotted Mira amidst a sea of shadowy figures, a striking presence and anchor in this chaotic world. He acknowledged him with a mere tilt of her head, a silent invitation into a realm of danger and discovery. Mira wasted no time, her voice a soothing blend of confidence and urgency, as as she revealed the depths of Nexus's conspiracy. Her words unfurled like a cinematic montage, painting a picture of countless lives, manipulated memories stripped away and rewritten to serve a corporate agenda. Her history with Nexus slowly emerged, as fragments of a life filled with betrayal and shadows haunted her expression. Mind raced, the puzzle pieces falling into place, forged an uneasy alliance, both aware that the path ahead was littered with treachery and risk. Mira meticulously plotted their course, each strategy crafted with precision, every step measured against the omnipresent threat of the corporation's watchful eyes. The neon skyline of Neo-Tokyo became their backdrop as they ventured deeper into the black market, a world teeming with whispers of suppressed truths. Yet, darkness loomed over their endeavor. A moment they navigated through the thrumming heart of the city, a shiver of foreboding crawled down Kai's spine. The shadows had eyes, corporate security was closing in, and the presence of Rai, the unyielding assassin, surged like a tempest on the horizon. They encountered several characters along the way, each offering fragments of information that painted a more vivid tapestry of devastation wrought by the corporation. Here, a survivor, there each story a chilling reminder of the lengths Nexus would go to maintain control. Fear rippled through the underground community as tales of altered identities and lost memories echoed in their ears. They completed another risky exchange with a particularly jittery informant. Mira's expression shifted, a flicker of unease crossing her features. Sensed it too. The air grew thick with tension. Being watched, a sensation crawled over him, reminiscent of being stalked by something unseen, something predatory. Heartbeat later, the world erupted into chaos. Alarms blared, harsh and unrelenting, cutting through the murmur of the market. Mira whisked Kai away into the narrow alleys, her sharp instincts guiding them. It's through the labyrinth of neon and concrete, but behind them, the pace of Rai quickened. The cacophony of escape. Kai's mind flickered with uncertainty, haunted by the knowledge that each step brought them closer to the heart of darkness, the core of Nexus. Together, they grappled with their growing bond, a strange amalgamation of trust and hesitation as they dodged the very shadows meant to ensnare them. Felt the weight of countless decisions pressing upon him. Each choice bore the potential for discovery or disaster, and the thought of unearthing Mira's secrets gnawed at him. It was thin ice, fragile and trembling under the weight of doubt. A looming specter of Rai remained constant, reminding him that danger was ever present, just one step behind. They stumbled into the labyrinthine networks of the city's underbelly. A new alliance began to solidify. Each breath, determination surged within Kai. They would unravel Nexus's grasp on human memories, become champions for those ensnared in its web of control. The stakes were high, and the price of failure could mean losing everything, including themselves. The anticipation of what lay ahead. Kai couldn't shake the feeling that his greatest hurdles were not the corporate henchmen or elusive secrets, but the shadows within himself, veiled by the very memories he sought to reclaim. The neon-lit streets of Neo-Tokyo pulsed with a rhythm of urgency and danger, as Kai stood at the precipice of a choice that would alter the trajectory of his life. The echoes of the woman's voice still haunted him, intertwining with the dark memories of his past, leading him to Mira. Uneasy alliance had been formed, and the awkward challenge of navigating this partnership now rested heavily on his shoulders. After days of sifting through layers of deception and digital shadows, they found themselves deep within the chaotic turmoil of the black market. Flickering lights illuminated cramped stalls filled with illicit goods and whispered secrets. Air buzzed with tension, a mix of desperation and anticipation hanging thick like the fog that often settled over the city. Clear of the corporation's gaze, but they knew that the hunter was never far behind. Mira moved with grace, her sharp eyes scanning the surroundings as if the very walls had ears. I followed closely, trying to absorb the sights, the sounds, the raw energy around him. They made their way to a hidden enclave, known for harboring victims of Nexus Industries. These were souls who had suffered the devastating effects of memory alteration, living ghosts in a city rich with vibrant life. They approached, Kai's heart quickened, a mixture of empathy and anxiety coursing through him. Inside, the atmosphere was somber. Individuals with vacant expressions wandered, clutching memories that felt distant, altered, erased. They whispered of experiences they could no longer trust, their voices a haunting chorus echoing Kai's own fear. He felt the weight of their despair settle onto his chest like a heavy blanket. This was no longer just about him. It was about the lives twisted and broken by echoes of forgotten history. Mira engaged with the people, gathering fragments of information. Kai's mind raced. This moment, this stark reality before him, that the full impact of Nexus's actions crystallized. Memories were not just pieces of time. They were the essence of identity. They told stories of joy, pain, love, and loss. A stirring sorrow for those trapped in a meticulously constructed web of lies. Mira pulled him closer, her voice barely above a whisper. Of a digital savior, a figure responsible for helping victims reclaim what Nexus had taken from them. She detailed the risks involved in approaching this person. Kai's resolve hardened. Providing their stories to someone who could help meant risking exposure. But the glaring truth was that doing nothing only perpetuated their suffering. Just then, the atmosphere shifted. A distant murmur of voices quieted, replaced by the sharp crackle of corporate communication. Being hunted. Without a moment's hesitation, Kai and Mira slipped into the shadows, hearts racing as they navigated the labyrinthine passages of the bazaar. A tangible feeling of danger seeped in, a reminder that they were not merely fighting for knowledge but for survival. Panic surged as the footsteps of corporate security closed in, the oppressive weight of Rai's relentless pursuit hanging over them like a storm cloud. With every turn, every twist in the alleyway, I could almost feel Rai's cold gaze trailing behind, calculating, unwavering. The stakes had never been higher, and Kai's pulse matched the frenetic pace of their escape. They burst into the streets, the neon lights casting wicked shadows that flickered as fast as their racing hearts. A buzzing of drones overhead intensified, searching, scanning for any sign of them. That moment, deep within the pulse of Neo-Tokyo, Kai's resolve was forged with a fiery clarity. He couldn't turn back. The truth awaited him on the other side of this grim struggle. The days that followed, the tension never waned. Each passing moment weighed heavily with the reality of their mission, the infiltrating of the sanctioned premises of Nexus, the brutal reckoning that would soon come. Ai's mind flickered back to the faces of those whose memories had been stolen. Lighted a fire within him, compelling him to confront not only the corporation but the shadows lurking within his own identity. Dangerous game they were playing. Kai was determined to illuminate the darkness that Nexus had cast over the city. He prepared to delve deeper into the web of lies. He sensed the lurking presence of Rai, relentless as ever. Fear mingled with anticipation, as Kai and Mira stood poised on the edge of an uncertain future. The unfolding journey was fraught with peril, yet on the horizon lingered the promise of awakening buried truths if they could only survive the shadows of neon Tokyo. The adrenaline of the narrow escape began to ebb. Kai and Mira found refuge in an abandoned subway station, the flickering fluorescent lights casting eerie shadows on the walls. They leaned against the cold, damp concrete, gasping for breath, hearts racing from both the chase and the weight of their undertaking. A reality of their situation sunk in like the darkness enveloping the station. Kai's mind raced with unresolved questions and a hint of doubt. Mira turned to him, her voice steady yet laced with urgency as she spoke of her past connection with Nexus. I listened, his throat dry as she revealed a fragment of her life, and she had been part of their operation, seduced by the allure of power and influence. She believed in their vision, a promise of a better world achieved through the manipulation of memories. But as she became embroiled in the corporation's nefarious schemes, the reality unfolded before her like the flickering lights of the station. Ai's heart sank with each word, feeling the chill of betrayal tinged with empathy for Mira. Fallen victim to the very system they now fought against, and a flicker of anger ignited within him. Yet he understood her motivations, the desperation that drove her to seek redemption. With every revelation, The bond between them tightened, yet it was tinged with a lingering shadow of mistrust. A rushing sound of footsteps echoed through the desolate platform, ricocheting off the tiles like a heartbeat. His instincts kicked in. The shadows around them were not just memories or fears, but potential threats closing in. Mira's expression hardened, her gaze shifting toward the darkened entrance of the station. Moments later, Rai appeared, a chilling figure emerging from the shadows, that cold, calculating stare fixed on them. The embodiment of corporate cruelty stood unyielding, an unstoppable force designed to eliminate threats. That moment, the stakes coalesced into a singular point of truth. Kai and Mira could either fight for their lives or succumb to the darkness that threatened to engulf them. With no time to waste, Kai activated his hacking skills, channeling everything he had learned over the year. The dim light, neon reflections danced across the screens embedded in his wrist console, displaying the incoming systems of Nexus. He worked feverishly to establish a connection, creating digital barriers and misdirecting Rai's tracking protocols. In the midst of chaos, he focused on the twinkling lights of possibility shimmering on the distant horizon of the digital landscape. Mira moved with deft precision, positioning herself between Kai and Rai, ready to fight if necessary. With her own skills honed through years of survival, she drew a weapons array that had been hidden beneath her coat. The tension crackled in the air, like the humming electricity of the city above. He smirked, eyes narrowing. He was a predatory force, relishing this game of cat and mouse. He taunted them with promises of their imminent defeat, confident in his technology and capability to end their insurrection. With his bravado, Kai felt a surge of determination. Every word Rai spoke felt like a probe, digging into the seams of his resolve, but each taunt only fortified his purpose. In a whirlwind of pixels and code, Kai executed his plan within the network, creating an illusionary block in the digital space. Ground beneath them shimmered as he unleashed a wave of electromagnetic interference, temporarily blinding the screen seen before Rai's eyes, creating a momentary escape. United in Kai, as he motioned for Mira to advance, dashed into the adjacent tunnel, the weight of their fears giving way to the urgency of this desperate flight. Behind them, the sound of confusion and frustration rang out, reverberating like a haunting echo in the hollow space. They ran deeper into the subway's labyrinth, illuminated only by the sporadic neon glow. Kai's mind raced. What remained was he running toward freedom, or deeper into the clutches of Nexus, with every footfall echoing off the steel and concrete. He felt a connection to those he sought to free, countless lives altered by Nexus's grip. Moments of clarity pierced through the chaos. He had to confront Rai, to stand firm against the darkness that sought to claim him. They would confront this fear together, not just for their own memories, but for the possibility of reclaiming those who had lost theirs. They emerged from the subterranean warren into the shimmering streets of Neo-Tokyo. The neon lights cast a surreal glow upon their resolute faces. Dawn of determination emerged, bolstered by that fleeting yet fiery connection forged between them. This journey wasn't merely about unraveling the twisted threads of Nexus's conspiracy. It was about taking control over his own narrative, his own shattered memory. Together, they steeled themselves for the inevitable confrontation, ready to challenge the shadows that stood before them, even as they began to unearth the depths of their intertwined fates. This sprawling, neon-drenched metropolis, they would uncover the truth and amidst the chaos, perhaps discover their own. The heart of Neo-Tokyo's shimmering chaos, Kai confronted the final remnants of his doubts. With every breath, tension thickened around him, each heartbeat echoing the inevitable showdown he could no longer escape. The time had come to face Rai, the relentless assassin twisted into the fabric of the corporation they sought to dismantle. Days of strategizing and trepidation had led them to this moment. A storm brewed quietly, each second heavy with the gravity of choices that lay ahead. Dawn approached. Kai and Mira nestled in the shadows of the abandoned warehouse they had claimed as temporary refuge, deep within the sprawl of forgotten structure. Outside, the neon lights flickered ominously, reminiscent of the flickering hope that resided within Kai's chest. Mira turned to Kai, her expression a blend of concern and determination. The challenges they had faced together had etched a bond between them, forged in the fires of urgency and danger. Caution whispered from deep within her as they prepared to breach Nexus Industries. I could sense the fear she tried to mask an emotion he mirrored, lurking within him like a lingering phantom. He recalled Haru's warnings about the consequences of digging too deep into the past. A mentor urged caution, painting vivid pictures of fractured identities and damaged psyches that could render a soul irretrievable. The echo of lost memory had become the melody of his current existence. With Mira beside him, he yearned for redemption, not just for his past, but for everyone entrapped in Nexus's cruel grip. The two hackers crept towards the sleek facade of Nexus Industries. The palpable hum of the city vibrated around them. The building towered above, a monolith reflecting the sky, but within its core lay darkness that beckoned Kai closer. Intricate hacking skill, he neutralized the security systems with precision and grace, masking their passage through layers of digital defenses. An electric pulse surged through him. Each step deeper into the labyrinth of memories felt momentous. The sterile halls of corporate power echoed Kai's every footfall, a stark contrast to the vibrant chaos of the world outside. Navigated corridors lined with stark white walls, adorned with logos that felt deceptively mundane. This was the essence of corporate control, a facade concealing the treachery of altered lives. With every turn, they grew closer to the heart of Nexus's operations. They discovered files filled with lost experiences, evidence of stolen lives that illuminated the horrific extent of the corporation's manipulation. Horrors lie within those digital documents, data fragments capturing laughter once echoing through vibrant lives, now replaced with controlled obedience. This wasn't just a personal fight for Kai. It was a battle for the forgotten and a symphony of injustice that played behind these polished walls. Suddenly, Mira's hand shot out, grasping Kai's arm, her urgent whisper slicing through the air. I was near. A hunter had come to reclaim his prey. Tension crackled like electricity between them as they pressed themselves against the cold walls, hearts thudding loudly in sync. Time was running thin. Keen footsteps echoed down the corridor, the sound sharp and merciless. I could practically feel Rai's icy presence cutting through the air, hunger for fulfillment evident in the relentless pursuit of the assassin. Paired nod. They steeled themselves, both prepared to face the reckoning. They moved forward. Shadows danced around the pair like puppets on strings, and the world outside faded away. They reached the central data hub, a colossal room pulsing with the hum of technology. Ai's fingers danced over the keyboard, lines of code cascading across the screens. He was detached yet alive, entranced, as he unearthed the web of manipulated memories, facing the stark truth behind the corporation's design. The alarms blared, shrieking like banshees through the halls. Security drones whirred to life, and time distilled into a frenetic urgency. Mira rallied, her voice commanding, urging Kai to hurry, but he hesitated for a split second. A file containing his own misplaced recollections flitted through his mind like shadows he could not grasp. He steeled himself, redirecting the flow of information. Old question morphed into clarity: what identity was worth recovering if it was anchored in deceit? The echo of armed footsteps drew ever closer. Rai had arrived. Heart pounding, Kai activated the final command before racing beside Mira, fleeing the onslaught of relentless pursuit. They flew through the corridors, the weight of the corporation's secrets trailing behind them like a shroud. Loomed as they rounded a corner and found themselves face to face with the predator. The tension hung thick in the air, the anticipation of confrontation before them, electric and tangible. Stood poised, a chilling reflection of the very menace they sought to dismantle. Icy eyes fixed on Kai, a smirk tugging at the corner of his lips. The assassin spoke of inevitability and fate, a mantra of control that sought to bind Kai into despair. Power rising within him, intertwined with the memories he fought to reclaim. The battle unfolded, a storm of wits and technology, the air shimmered with the clash of purpose. Each movement resonated, weaving a dance between shadows and light, the echoes of memory fading into whispers in the corners of his mind. The climax that followed, Kai's instincts kicked in, his fingers dancing over the keys, hacking the very system meant to imprison him. Utilizing every ounce of skill and determination he had, he maneuvered through the digital realm, unleashing a torrent upon Nexus's defenses that sent a shockwave through the network. Victory surged in his veins, a momentary silence cast around them as darkness met brilliance. Faltered, confusion marring the icy confidence he wore like armor. Was a brief glimpse of vulnerability, a crack in the facade. Deft movement, Kai seized the moment. One last push. He sent a corrosive virus spiraling through Nexus's core, dismantling the hold that gripped so many lives. The building trembled as the lights blinked erratically, a sign of the crumbling empire that had sought to control them. With Rai momentarily incapacitated, Kai and Mira seized the opportunity to escape. Hearts thundering, they emerged into the neon haze of Neo-Tokyo, a city reborn amidst chaos and illuminated starkly against the darkened chapters of corporate history. Together, they had fought through the shadows, confronting not just the corporation but the very nature of identity in a world where memories could be weaponized. The sunlight spilled over the horizon. A new dawn began to unfurl, illuminating the path that lay ahead. I could still feel the weight of uncertainty, what awaited him in the aftermath of this confrontation. The fight may have ended. Echoes of memories twisted, and reclaimed would linger forever, guiding him toward a truth waiting to be unearthed. Now, as he stepped forward, he embraced the fleeting whispers of hope that guided his way, a journey toward reclamation and the rediscovery of self amidst a world sculpted in shadow. The dim glow of a computer screen, Kai and Mira found themselves at the nexus of determination and desperation, poised for the most daring endeavor yet. The towering edifice of Nexus Industries loomed before them, an impassive giant draped in the teeming neon lights of Neo-Tokyo. Each flicker beckoned with the promise of revelation, yet shrouded in the thick fog of risk. The intricate plan they had crafted rested heavily on their shoulders. It was a symphony of ingenuity, every note composed to bypass the myriad of high-tech security measures that the corporation had erected around its sanctum. Ai's mind tended to the digital strings of the operation, preparing to weave his way into the heart of the beast. Together, they maneuvered through the city's underbelly, their path illuminated by the flickering neon signs that seemed to whisper secrets meant for only the bravest of souls. The district was alive with echoes of past lives, forgotten corridors where people lost themselves among memories stolen away, remnants of lives rearranged by Nexus's merciless hand. Arrived at the outskirts of the corporate headquarters, a chill crept down Kai's spine. He paused to survey the surroundings, noting the myriad of blinking cameras and drones surveying the terrain's steel sentinels, guarding the very secrets they sought. Mira noticed his hesitation, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. He could sense her confidence, an anchoring presence in the storm of uncertainty threatening to engulf them. With their gear secured, they navigated unnoticed through the byways leading to a secluded entrance, a maintenance access point old and neglected, veiled behind layers of dust and shadows. Ai's fingers danced over his wrist console, initiating the bypass of security systems, sending deceptive signals to the guards scattered above and below. The screens glowed rhythmically, reflecting the pulse of their adrenaline-driven hearts. Inside, they were met with a stark contrast. The sterile white corridors hummed with a cold lifelessness. I marveled at the advanced technology surrounding them, yet an undercurrent of dread welled within a reminder that this very brilliance was designed to control and manipulate. He felt a growing urgency. Time was fleeting. Every moment spent lurking within these walls only intensified the risk of detection. They ventured deeper. Kai quickly unleashed his skills, hacking into Nexus's security protocols, projecting virtual illusions through the sprawling network. With every click and tap, he crafted a tapestry of deception, conjuring backdoors and blind spots that shielded their movements. Mira, ever vigilant, scouted ahead, her sharp gaze developed from years within this corporate realm. They descended into the darker depths of the headquarters, where hushed whispers and the hum of machines swirled around them. Each room they passed was a testament to Nexus's sinister ambition. Sterile laboratories where memories were rearranged like scattered puzzle pieces, images of sorrow and loss lurking behind closed doors. Ai's heart pounded louder with every step, reminders of those lost souls crowding the fringes of his consciousness. Then, there it was a hollow echo of digital energy pulsing from behind a lacquered door at the end of the hallway. Feel the weight of truth and treachery thrumming in the air. He initiated a breach, fingers dancing as lines of code swirled in intricate patterns, bypassing yet another layer of security. The door swung open, revealing a stark room, its expanse marred by ominous screens and flickering lights, a core database reflecting the memories they yearned to decode. Lines of data glowed like a neon cityscape, revealing lives erased, rewritten, and subjugated to Nexus's cruelty. That moment, the gravity of their mission settled heavily upon them. They moved quickly, propelling themselves into the depths of the memory files, Kay navigating the labyrinthine data with precision. Began to extract the stolen images of lives, intertwined, recalling the faces of those whose memories had been forcibly altered. Kai could feel the dark shadow trailing behind. Presence loomed large, an inescapable reminder of the consequences that awaited them. Atmosphere shifted, the digital realm morphing into a battlefield as alarm signals blared into existence, shaking the very foundation of their resolve. Panic rippled through Kai. Urgency enveloped him in a chokehold, but he could not back down. With rapid calculation, he forged a plan to counter Rai's approaching presence, enhancing their defenses even as the assassin grew ever closer. Together with Mira, they fortified their virtual barriers, using the very architecture of the Nexus systems to create a web of misdirection. The storm of their frantic movements, uncertainty welled, challenging not only their resolve but their very identity's memories layered with deception and darkness twisting into their core. It was a double-edged sword, and as they stood battered by the shadows of the corporation, Kai made a silent vow to pierce through the looming veil of manipulation. The screens flickered as they fought against the tide of overwhelming security, each moment stretching across the expanse of time, until it all coalesced into a singular moment of clarity, the ultimate confluence of thought and action. Not only reclaim the stolen memories, but also expose the sinister depths of Nexus. With a jolt, a surge of adrenaline coursed through him, igniting a fierce determination. He could not falter now. Ai's fingers raced over the keys, hacking deeper, each stroke a declaration of war against the corporate underbelly. They would either emerge victorious, shaking the foundations of Nexus to its core, or be forever lost within the neon shadows of Neo-Tokyo. They braced themselves for the final confrontation. Kai could not help but reflect on the implications of their endeavor. It transcended the pursuit of truths about Nexus. It was a fight for the very essence of their identities, each stolen memory a thread weaving back to their core. The sprawling tapestry of life, Kai and Mira stood as beacons of defiance, ready to illuminate the darkened paths before them. The intricate dance of light and shadow that defined Neo-Tokyo, Kai found himself standing at precipice, both figuratively and literally. A resonating hum of the metropolis filled the air, creating an unsettling symphony that mirrored the turmoil within him. The weight of his revelations pressing down, he faced a choice echoing with profound implications for his life and the lives of countless others. Mira stood beside him, her presence a compass amid the swirling chaos. With remnants of their harrowing escape still fresh in their minds, a thick layer of tension wrapped around them like a second skin. They had delved deep into the heart of Nexus Industries, uncovering secrets that should have remained buried. Now, those truths lay scattered before them, stirring an internal conflict that threatened to consume Kai. The digital files they had extracted glowed faintly on his wrist console, each file a testament to the manipulated lives tethered to Nexus's cruel ambition. Ai's heart raced as he contemplated the ramifications of what he had learned. Was he ready to expose the dark machinations of a corporation that had wielded memories like weapons? The stakes were monumental, Unveiling their deceit could shatter the carefully constructed illusions of so many. So could also plunge him into a vortex of danger, perhaps erasing his own sense of self forever. Mira's gaze fell upon him, a mix of encouragement and concern shimmering in her eyes. They had journeyed perilously close to the dark heart of Nexus, guided not solely by a thirst for knowledge, but also by a desire for justice. Yet, Kai couldn't ignore the reflections of their partnership replaying in his mind the shared moments that wove a narrative of trust, countered by the shadows that still clung to them both. Silence enveloped them, was broken by the cold, calculating laughter that echoed through the air, drawing their attention toward an encroaching figure. I emerged from the shadows, the corporate assassin embodying menace and resolution. He moved with a predatory grace, each step measured, a reminder of the relentless pursuit that had trailed them like a specter since their break from Nexus's hold. The surge of instinctual panic, every second counted. Not merely a hunter in pursuit of prey, he was a ruthless force set against the fragile alliance Kai had forged. He could sense the assassin's determination, an unwavering intent to extinguish their hope before it fully illuminated the path to truth. That heated moment, Kai's thoughts flickered toward his own past fragmented memories danced just beyond his reach, lending weight to his resolve. Articulate fusion of fear and determination surged within him, and to confront the truth he had buried for so long, not just about Nexus, but about himself. He glanced at Mira, her expression reflecting both fear and fierce determination. This was their moment together. They had to decide how to wield the power of the knowledge they held. The flicker of hope that had been missing for so long. Within him a feeling that perhaps, against all odds, they could reclaim their stories. Silent communication passed between them. Their bond grew stronger. Not yield to the pressure of fear. The tension escalated. Kai initiated the digital countermeasures he had prepared, ready to battle not just for their lives, but for the memories and identities of those affected by Nexus's insatiable greed. Ever the calculating adversary shifted into action, advanced technology humming around him, a weaponized force determined to sever their connection to the truth. The air crackled as each faction prepared to unleash their strengths. What had once been a partnership now stood on the cusp of confrontation. With each keystroke, Kai orchestrated a barrage of defense mechanisms against Rai's relentless approach. Every command was infused with urgency, a desperate plea to rewrite the narrative being crafted in blood and memory. Mira's whispers of strategy melded with Kai's digital expertise, together creating an electrifying force against their predator. The battle commenced. The stark reality of their choices surrounded them. The walls reverberated with the clash of will, shadows bending and twisting as the assassin fought with precision and menace. Kai's determination coalesced. He felt clarity spreading through his veins, a chance to ignite a change that could reverberate far beyond this moment. In the fast-paced chaos, Kai's thoughts crystallized. He needed to expose the truth, a truth that would unravel the corporation's grip on human existence. He felt the pull of righteousness. The very essence of reclaiming their stories surged within him, breaking free of the hold Nexus had tried to impose. Amidst the flickering screens and the unfolding confrontation, Kai pushed himself to the limit, tapping into reservoirs of strength he didn't know he possessed. Memories that had once haunted him now became fuel, galvanizing his resolve to change the narrative for everyone trapped under Nexus's control. In that final showdown, the neon lights cast manic colors across their entwined fates. Around his voice he would rise against the shadows, reclaiming not just his past, but all the lives that had been relegated to mere ghosts of their former selves. Confrontation with Rai wasn't merely the fight of his life. It became a testament to the power of choice, the indomitable spirit of those who dared to resist. With courage tightening his grip, Kai stepped closer to the edge of the abyss, ready to define his story amidst the cacophony of chaos. Ere, in the precipice of darkness, illuminated by the glow of a city reborn, destiny awaited a truth that had the power to free not just his soul, but untold others. The neon shadows trembled around him, and with every breath, he knew that they would rise to face the dawn together. the dim glow of neon lights. The confrontation Kai had anticipated became a vivid reality. The abandoned subway station hummed with tension as he and Mira stood at the edge of precipice, the air electric with the looming presence of their adversary, Ron. The assassin, a specter of corporate greed and cold efficiency, had hunted them relentlessly, and now, here they were facing their pasts and futures intertwined. Fingers tapped anxiously against the small control pad strapped to his wrist, a familiar surge of adrenaline coursing through him as he prepared for what lay ahead. By his side, they embodied a fragile alliance, one fraught with uncertainty and tempered by survival. Memories of laughter and warmth, once vibrant, now felt distant, overshadowed by the urgency of their mission. I emerged from the shadows, an enigmatic figure clad in sleek, dark armor, his movements deliberate and predatory. He fixated his icy gaze on Kai, an unsettling smirk playing on his lips, a taunt, a reminder of power, and the embodiment of all that Nexus represented. He approached, the chilling air thickened with unspoken threats, each heartbeat echoing the fragility of their lives in the neon-drenched city. Heightened his grip around the control pad, his instincts sharpening. He was acutely aware that failure was not an option. The stakes extended far beyond his own existence. In the depths of his mind lurked the faces of those whose memories had been twisted and stolen, a growing gallery of lost identities that spurred him onward. He had come to embody more than just a skilled hacker. He was a beacon of hope for the forgotten. Drawing strength from Mira, who stood resolutely beside him, Kai recognized that this moment would define them. The confrontation with Rai was more than a battle of technology. It symbolized their resolve, their determination to reclaim their lives and the narratives that had been usurped. Time seemed to warp and stretch as they readied themselves for the apex of their struggle. Initiated a scramble of signals within Nexus's digital infrastructure, scrambling Rai's tracking capabilities. The air crackled as they engaged, the flickering lights of the subway reflecting the intensity of their confrontation. Rai charged forward. The assassin wielded technology that pulsed with deadly precision, a stark contrast to Kai's fierce ingenuity. Mira sprang into action, flinging an array of digital countermeasures at Rai, while Kai worked feverishly to reinforce their defenses. Intricate dance unfolded, threads of code intertwining like the choreography of a battle, a ballet of wills. Lashed out with ruthless efficiency, and Kai felt the rush of danger enveloping him like the oppressive weight of the city outside. In the midst of the tumult, memories pierced through the chaos, fragments of laughter shared in quiet corners, the warmth of friendships forged, the pain of loss. They fueled his resolve, illuminating the shadows lurking at the periphery of his consciousness. With each keystroke, he wove a tapestry of defiance, channeling his fury into the virtual realm, a battle for the very essence of identity against a backdrop of woven deceit. Confrontation reached a fever pitch as Rai's voice sliced through the tumult, promising victory as he bore down on them with cold, calculated precision. Yet, amidst the tension, Kai felt a flicker of clarity, a merging of purpose and identity that sparked within him. He was not merely a pawn in this corporate game. He was the author of his own story, ready to reclaim his narrative. With renewed fervor, Kai launched a digital offensive against the corporation's core. He directed a surge of energy through Nexus's mainframe like a lightning bolt illuminating a storm. Alarms blared as the systems buckled, shaking the foundation of their oppressor. A moment of vulnerability flickered across Rai's features, doubt masked by bravado. Then, in a decisive flourish, Kai unleashed a virus, a torrent of information crashing through the barriers that had bound them for so long. The boundaries of the corporation trembled as their grasp on memory and control unraveled like threads in a tapestry. That taking this monumental step came with risks not just for him, but for all those ensnared by the corporation's cruel machination. The echoes of their confrontation reverberated through the chambers of Nexus. The heavy shroud that had encased Kai for so long began to lift. The specter of the past lingered, yet each gained moment illuminated the path ahead. Together, he and Mira fled into the shimmering streets, the neon lights casting vibrant colors across the darkened corners of Neo-Tokyo. The dawn that broke to accompany their escape was one of promise and uncertainty, painting their futures anew against a fraught backdrop of memories reclaimed. I couldn't shake the threads of chaos still swirling around him, shadows whispering doubts of what lay beyond their daring escape. Resolute, feeling the weight of hope buoyant within him, he had redefined his narrative, challenged the oppressive shadows, and with Mira a compassionate ally, he would delve into an uncertain future. The aftermath of confrontation, the remnants of his journey unfurled beautifully, each memory, each fragment of the past, now echoed as a song guiding him forward. The battle against Nexus had only just begun, and as Kai stepped into the soft glow of a newly illuminated world, the lingering promise of identity awaited him. Journey toward reclamation lay ahead, and each step he took resonated with the whispers of resilience and redemption, echoing softly through the neon-clad corridors of Neo-Tokyo. With determination burning brightly, Kai was ready to confront what awaited him, a new dawn in the melding narrative of memories reclaimed.